Hey everyone, today I wanted to share with you 10 tips on how to cruise on a budget. Now recently cruise prices have been going up. I thought it'd be a great time to share Kayla and I's top saving tips that we do every single cruise. If you stay to the end, we'll share one of our biggest cost saving tips, and we were shocked about how little this was mentioned in other videos. Seriously, we watched 9 other videos and it was barely mentioned, if it was mentioned at all. We also think that it's not widely known that this is an option, especially for new cruisers. Now if you're an experienced cruiser, some of these tips may seem obvious, but one of my favorite things about the cruising culture is everyone is willing to help and share their own ideas and experiences and to help each other out. So if I missed anything, please comment down below. If there's a way you could do something better, let us know. Okay, these tips are in no particular order, so let's dive right in with number 1, that is loyalty perks. Whatever cruise line you're going with, sign up for their loyalty program. Personally, I think Royal Caribbean has the best, and that's through their Crown and Anchor program. You can start off right away with signing up, and gold is actually only 3 points, so you can start earning discounts as soon as you're basically done your first cruise. A couple things that stand out to me are the discount on glass of wine, beer, soda, the discount on any coffee beverage, and discounts on purchasing the Wi-Fi on board. It took Kayla and I 10 years to hit diamond, so it did take us a while, but eventually we earned 4 free drinks per day each. We get 1 free photo each, which is like $20 US, and then we earn 1 free Wi-Fi day each, which is nice because we can just check in on our dog and that sort of thing. So all of this really brought down the price of our cruise. We never really feel like we have to buy the drink package, and that significantly cut down our cruise travel cost. There really is no downside to signing up for these loyalty programs, so I'd say if you're thinking about booking a cruise or you have a cruise booked already, just go ahead and sign up, and if whether you use the savings or not, that's okay, but at least you're getting credit for the points so that the next time you book, maybe your benefits will be even better. Tip number 2, and that is to stick to the interior staterooms. Now you can even go one step further and do interior guarantee, where that's where the cruise ship will actually choose your room location. But there are some downsides to this. If you have trouble with seasickness, for example, you may want to be closer to the midship as opposed to in forward. You can always stick to the interior, but pay a little extra, pick your own room location. Now we find that the interior is the way to go because the money that you'll save can either cruise more often, or you could put it into other things such as cruise experiences, excursions, drink packages, anything like that. And you're really not in your room that much. We just got off an Alaska cruise and we did do the balcony for that one. And we really thought that was the good decision. We loved having the balcony. And so I think there are cruises that call for the balcony, but generally I think you're pretty safe if you're trying to stick to a budget to go with that interior guarantee. Cost saving tip number 3 is that the newer ships, generally speaking, are going to cost more money. And I think it's really important to factor in, what kind of vacation you're looking to have and whether you want to pay for the premium to have a bigger like Oasis class or the Icon class ship. If you want to save some money, going with some of the older ships is definitely a great option. I'll pull up here. They have the 7-night Western Caribbean on the Icon of the Seas, and that is going to be pretty absurd prices in my opinion. That is not the way to go when you're trying to cruise on a budget. So what I'd recommend doing, if these were the destinations you wanted to go, in this case it's Roatan, Costa Maya, Cozumel, you could find a very similar cruise and drastically reduce your cost. This cruise that goes to the same destinations except for Coco Cay is significantly less than the Icon of the Seas, and the Harmony of the Seas is in a fantastic ship. You're gonna have an absolute blast. So this is one of the easiest ways I would say you could significantly reduce the cost of your cruise vacation. Tip number 4 is gonna be to bring on 2 bottles of wine per stateroom, and you can also bring on a case of 12 waters or a case of 12 Cokes. Now this is obviously a good alternative if you're opting not to buy the drink package, but one other thing you can do too is alcohol that you buy on the trip, you'll get back on the last day. With the 2 bottles of wine you already have and then 1 bottle on the last day, that's already 3 days covered where you can at least have wine with dinner, and then you can just buy a drink here and there, and it's a great way to save some money as opposed to buying the big expensive deluxe drink package. Tip number 5 is to cruise during the off season. If you're cruising in spring break, summer, or Christmas time, you're gonna be paying a significantly more amount for your cruise vacation. If you're a teacher and you have kids and this is unavoidable, hopefully some of the other tips will help you out, but if you can avoid going on a cruise during these times, you're gonna save a significant amount of money. We just came back from our trip in Alaska in May, and it was a fairly cheap cruise fare, even though the excursions in Alaska are still very expensive. Tip number 6, and this is a really underrated one, I think, and this is booking in advance and watching for the price drops. Now, talking to an experienced cruiser, you may be all over this, but talking to someone who doesn't cruise that often or is cruising for the first time, watching for these price drops isn't even on their radar in my experience. So luckily there's like great tools and websites that you can use to kind of do the work for you. If you book in advance and then the price of the cruise goes down, well, you can simply call the cruise line and they'll adjust the price for you as long as it's before the final payment. So one website that I like to use is Cruise Watch. And what you can do is you can find your specific cruise, set a price alert, and it'll give you an email if the price has either gone down or gone up, and you can know whether or not you really got the best price for your cruise. Now, if you want to book a last minute cruise, sometimes you can get a really good deal. I think generally the cruise lines kind of stray away from drastically reducing the price just to avoid this becoming a thing where cruisers don't book in advance. But I have seen some amazing deals come for last minute cruises, so just keep your eyes open, maybe you'll get lucky. Now tip number 7 is going to be promotions. So generally you'll find that the cruise lines will use the same promotions over and over again, and they'll actually just do like one promotion will be so similar to the next promotion where it just comes out the same in the end. So don't worry about missing like a specific promotion like that, but you can keep your eye open for something that might be more applicable, which would be, you know, third and fourth guests sail free, kids sail free, free airfare. Norwegian, the second guest gets free airfare. They run that all the time too, so don't worry about that. But there's also third-party travel agency websites. We'll get more into this later. They will offer, typically around, July 4th and Black Friday. They'll tend to like throw in more on the cruise, like such as onboard credit, gratuities, specialty dining, that sort of thing. So it's a great way to subsidize the cost of some things that you might want to do on the ship. Okay, tip number 8, and it's kind of a big one. I'm actually kind of shocked about how big the discrepancy is sometimes, and that's to book with third parties when booking excursions. So I understand that it sometimes could be smart to book with the ship, but generally this is a great way to save some extra money. Now there's a ton of different websites you can use for this. In this example here, it's going to be Shore Excursioneer. I'll put the link in the description below. I don't have any affiliation or any sponsors or anything like that. This is simply just one I like to use. I find it really easy. You just punch in your cruise dates and it'll populate all the excursions for you. Now in this particular example I'm going to show you is the Nassau Pearl Island exclusive beach break. They're offering it for $99 on Shore Excursioneer, but if you go over to Royal Caribbean, they're offering it at $149 per adult and $84 per child. What I think that the cruise line will offer here would be the transportation to and from, but I don't think that's really going to come out to the extra cost that they're charging here. So typically, if you're willing to take on the transportation privately through a shuttle service or a taxi, you're going to save some extra money. And if you like the tips so far, give us a like, subscribe, comment down below if you missed anything. Kayla and I do continuous cruise vlogs, and our next one is out on the Oasis of the Seas in September, and we have 4 next year, including one with the Carnival Jubilee. We're going to Mediterranean, and we're on the Utopia of the Seas. So a lot of great stuff coming. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get back to the tips. Tip number 9, and that would be to sail out of a port that you could drive to. Now Kayla and I took a cruise out of Baltimore last year, and that was an 8-hour drive from Canada, and we drove down, and it significantly cut the cost of our cruise. We were actually able to put that money into an excursion we really wanted to do, which was the Atlantis Day Pass, and I don't know if you've been on that, but it's quite expensive. So by driving to the port, we were able to do this, and or if it's works with you, you could put it into drink packages or specialty dining, whatever you want, right? So if it's possible, drive to the cruise port, can cut down on some costs. Finally, tip number 10, the one you've been waiting for, and we cannot find this on any budget video out there. We were wondering if a lot of it, the YouTubers who do this kind of content are actually travel agents, and maybe they just say, well, use a travel agent, and that's them referencing this tip. If you want to use a travel agency website, what I would recommend is actually finding group rates. Now you can do this, there are a lot of websites out there, like one I like to use is CrewCon, there's cruises.com. We can't use that here in Canada, but I think it might be popular there. But generally what they'll do, these companies will reserve a lot of rooms, and then they'll be able to provide it to you at a group rate. And that'll be significantly cheaper than what you pay on the website. Not only that, on top of it, they're gonna throw in their own promotions. Free gratuities, onboard credit, specialty dining. It's crazy how much they'll give you and how much better it is to book with these websites, or if the travel agent is able to get you these rates. Here I'm going to show you one example from a Utopia of the Seas cruise next September, but on Royal Caribbean it's offered at $653. And then when I went on to CrewCon, the same cruise, and you can see here near the bottom it says group 4730965. They've gone ahead and reserved a bunch of rooms, and they're offering at $454 for the same interior stateroom. So the difference in this example alone is $200 per person, which is a lot in relation to how much this cruise actually cost. So I would definitely recommend, if you're not using a travel agent or looking at one of these travel agency websites, that you do, and you can look for group rates to save a significant cost on your next cruise. Well, there you have it. There's our 10 cost saving tips on how to cruise on a budget. As I mentioned, not a travel agent, I'm not affiliated with anything. This is merely just for your benefit, and we're sharing our experiences and tips for you on how to make cruising a little more affordable for you. Again, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. We got our Oasis of the Seas cruise coming up, and we're just finishing our Alaska vlog. And if you're interested in any of that, please like and subscribe, and catch you next time.